Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is the Morgan Millennial Minute with Alexander Horat. The show is brought to you by David Morgan of themorganreport.com. Today, we're going to be talking to Hi Din of Millennial Takeover. Hello, Hi. Thank you for being on the show.
How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm doing well. How can a millennial learn to become an entrepreneur?
So, a lot of people starting on the entrepreneur path, right? I feel like the mistake of entrepreneurs have at the beginning stage is not really like educating themselves on how financial literacy works, because understanding how taxes work, understanding how credit works, understanding how all that foundation works is basically what is going to set you up for the longevity of your business, right? And so I feel like to be successful as an entrepreneur, you must first educate yourself on how money works, just how money works in the US economy and how money operates in the US economy, flowing in and out of the economy as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how can millennials better educate themselves on this?
Okay, so like for myself, I am attending a four-year school, transferring to San Diego State at the end of this year. But the thing about school is I don't feel that the college education system really talk about the finance part of life that often. And I feel like that's the flaw of it. But I feel like for someone to understand how to do taxes or like credit, I would say you would have to involve yourself in a space or an industry that revolves around that. For example, like real estate. As a real estate agent, you're knowledgeable about how loans operate and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So what are some good ways for millennials to generate passive income?
So I feel like the best passive income right now, in my opinion, are the ATMs. Reason being is because the ATMs, um, you place them in different businesses, right? So for example, my ATMs, I place them in liquor stores, gas stations, nail salons, basically businesses that take cash only. Well, cash, they favor more of cash type of industry. And so by doing that, you're capitalizing on the surcharge. And the reason why I like this business so much is because like during the pandemic, I knew that a lot of business took a big hit. And like luckily for me, this was still doing pretty well during the pandemic as well. So I feel like this is like a really good passive income business model that a lot of people can easily get into.
So those are companies that you can invest in on the stock market.
No, so this is an independently owned business that an individual would open.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah. So those are some of the good sectors to get into then is the hard cash sector for millennials.
Exactly, to diversify a portfolio, I'd say.
Okay. So how can millennials prepare for a recession?
I feel like for millennials to prepare for a recession, just like just like a table, right? A table has four stands. I feel like every human being should have a foundation for themselves. Because think about it, if you just have a 9 to 5 job or just a job by itself, you're one step away from poverty. So I feel like one, you need to have a good foundation for yourself, build um, one source of income first. And once that is bringing in a decent amount of money or however much money that you want, then you start expanding to different sources of income vehicles. For example, let's say you have a 9 to 5, right? You can shoot $100 monthly towards your dividend portfolio, and then you have an ATM business, so that's three now. And then it's just like every single year you just try to maximize your potential.
Okay. So how can a millennial do well in the business world?
For millennials to do well in the business world, in my opinion, I feel like the cliche saying, your net worth is your net worth, and I 100% believe that. I believe that the people that you meet, let's say at a networking event, they could really transform your business and help you in certain aspects of life that you would not see coming.
Okay. So what are some good ways for millennials to get out of debt?
Um, easiest ways, don't get into it, right? But I feel like the reason why someone gets into debt is because they're not financially literate about how money works. So I feel like they would just need to educate themselves on how money works and then get themselves out of it.
Okay. So do you think it's a good idea for millennials to hold precious metals?
Can you repeat that, please?
Do you think it's a good idea for millennials to hold precious metals?
100%, because I feel like, well, this is a fact. The US dollar is inflated by 2% annually. And so by leaving your money in the bank every single year, you're losing value on it. And right now we're in a very interesting market. If you're aware of the stock market right now, during the whole pandemic, the Federal Reserve has been pumping a lot of money into the market through stimulus, PPPs, SBA loans and stuff like that. And the interesting part is if you look at the stock market, ever since the coronavirus hit, um, it started reaching all-time highs and new time highs and stuff like that, but it doesn't really make sense. So you have to take into account that they're pumping money into the market, and at the same time, the Federal Reserve is also increasing bond yields to fight against inflation. So I feel like through that whole process, this is where the US dollar gets weak, and commodities like gold, silver, copper, and BTC, Ethereum, and other assets like that, they will appreciate and actually have a value for themselves.
Yeah, so you went into a little bit into the stock market. So do you think the stock market will continue to go up, or do you think it'll crash?
I feel like we are. I don't know if you guys heard of Mike Burry, the guy that predicted the crash, but I've been reading a lot of articles about him and Warren Buffett, and their like indicator, like their inflation indicator, is at a bubble right now. So I do believe that something's gonna happen because the market has been moving very odd, like ever since 2021 has started. If you notice.
Right. So do you think all stocks are going to go down, or do you think there's some certain stocks that won't?
So I feel like it really depends on the sector because ever since the start of Q1 of 2021, especially the technology sector has been hit pretty hard. And I feel like during times like this, the financial sector and the defense sector like Costco and Walmart will outperform technology in the long run.
Yeah, that's a big possibility. So how can millennials build and preserve wealth?
Build and preserve wealth.
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like millennials, they should go into a certain business of something that they have a passion for. So let's say that I like doing photography. You can open a photography business and onboard clients. And the way that you preserve your wealth and keep your wealth is actually by setting up your estate planning. So a lot of people don't really take this into account, but for LLCs and S corps, there's a way to set it to where you can have trust and trustees. So you can pay your kids, and you save around $12,000 per year on per child that you have by paying them as an employee. And a lot of people don't really know that. And on top of that, you can preserve it through a lot of tax loopholes, such as having real estate on top of your business, because that provides a lot of tax credits and different like loopholes that you can have within the tax code that the US have implemented for business owners.
Okay, can you tell us, the viewers, some other ways they can get their taxes down?
Yeah, so the easiest way that you can get your taxes down is if you own a car that is above 6,000 pounds, I believe, and that is 100% deductible the first year. And by having an LLC or an S corp, your everyday expenses like traveling and eating, that can be related to business expense, and that can be like written off at the end of the year.
Oh, I see. Wow, that seems like a really interesting thing that people can do. So going into the future, do you think gold and silver are going to rise soon?
So in the future, I feel like gold and silver will definitely rise in the next couple of years due to the inflation that's happening in the US. Because I feel like the US dollar is losing a lot of its value ever since the pandemic.
Hmm. So when do you think the US dollar will really crash? Like we've seen it slowly kind of dying around, we're losing like 2% of our purchasing value each year. Do you think there's going to be a time where it's just going to take a big crash, or do you think it'll just go down steadily like it has been?
Well, I feel like, can you repeat the question again, please?
So one thing that I've been seeing is that it seems that with the inflation with the US dollar, it's going down at a steady rate. It's not really crashing like a rock. So do you think in the future it will continue to go down a steady rate, or do you think it will crash really bad?
I feel like the US dollar will slowly decline at a steady rate due to like whatever is going on behind the government scene right now. But the interesting part is if you look at the, the US GDP to debt ratio, um, our population compared to let's say like China, right? We're taking like 5 times as long to recover from this versus China, which is pretty interesting to me.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely true. What do you think of China opening up a new digital currency?
Um, I feel like I feel like that's to be honest, that's a really bad idea because um, one, they wanted to fight against BTC, which is Bitcoin, and the whole reason behind Bitcoin and Ethereum is because it's decentralized. And with China opening up a crypto and them controlling it, it kind of defeats the purpose of a decentralized platform.
Yeah. Do you think they're planning on doing something similar in the United States?
Um, so I have been hearing like reading a lot of articles about um the Great Reset and how like they want to go back to a one world currency, but I don't know if Bitcoin is that thing that they're talking about because I know that the feds are really cracking down on Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto and stuff like that because they didn't really figure out a way on how to control it yet, tax purposes.
Right. And definitely compared to cryptocurrencies. Would you agree with this? It's a lot harder for the government to take physical gold and silver than it is a cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
could you tell the viewers where they can find you?
Yeah, so um, I am on Instagram. My username is Hi Dinho, HAIDINHO, and my YouTube channel is Millennial Takeover on YouTube.
Okay, that's great. So everyone, please check out his YouTube channel, Millennial Takeover. And thank you, Hi, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for everyone who's watching. Goodbye.